Hi, I'm Yinka, and this is The Hurt Locker, a podcast where we open a door into men's mental health. Come and go. When we're in those environments, we've got to put a front on that we're not afraid and all of that. But inside, we're shit scared.
Mandem Meetup creates safe spaces for other lads just to show up however they need to show up in society without any judgment, without any expectation. It's a safe space where lads can take off the mask. It's a safe space where lads can just be who they want to be and not who they have to be.
You know what? We need to have more conversations like this. You're listening to The Hurt Locker, the podcast that opens the door on men's mental health. And tonight's guest is CEO of Mandem Meetup, Jamie Dennis. Jamie, welcome to The Hurt Locker.
Nice one, brother. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. How are you today?
Good, Yeah, had a productive day, feeling all right. How about yourself, our kid?
You know what? It's been busy in a good way. It's been eye-opening in a good way. And maybe I'll say more about it later, but tell me a little bit about yourself then. Who is Jamie Dennis?
No, you're going straight in with the philosophical questions. Wow. Where do I approach this?
Freestyle. That's what you said. Freestyle.
Freestyle, boy. If I go from a Buddhist lens, I am nobody and I do not exist. You know what I mean? Are we going to go that deep then? Yes. You started it, bro. You get me? You come in with the big questions from the off. From the off.
For the benefits of people. For the benefits of people.
Yeah.
We met at a conference in Liverpool. It was about suicide. You know,
Yep.
We were both on the panel, and as soon as I heard Jamie open his voice, I thought, I've got to get him on the podcast. I think what it was for me, it was your energy, it was your spirit, it was what you had to say. And I'm not going to hold it against you that you're from Manchester. Somebody's got to live there. But anyway, you know, I was really, as soon as I got back home, I told Tim about you, gave him your details and said, yeah, we need to get him on here. So welcome to The Hurt Locker.
Thank you, brother. I respect him and I'm humbled to be here, man. And yeah, if we go off real life, you know, man's just, I'm a chief executive for a men's mental health charity. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a real lad, grew up on a council estate in Old Trafford and, you know, just trying to navigate this world one day at a time.
And, you know, navigation's a good word to use because sometimes you end up in cul-de-sacs. Sometimes you feel as if you're rising, then boom, you're back down to earth again. And then you've got to just shake your head, give your head a wobble and say, what went on there? What's going on there? Reflect and then start again.
Yeah, facts. That's all it is. We just take this life as waves, innit? Sometimes we ride the nice high waves. Sometimes we got to lie in the shallows and
100%.
that's okay.
100%. Mm-hmm. So tell me about Mandem Meetup.
Mandem Meetup really is a community of men that create safe spaces for other lads just to show up however they need to show up in society without any judgment, without any expectation. It's a safe space where lads can take off the mask. It's a safe space where lads can just be who they want to be and not who they have to be. We put on free activities throughout the week and at the weekends, in the evenings, so that, you know, the working man can come along to our sessions as well.
So give me an example of some of the activities you put on during the week and of a weekend.
Yeah, so we put a footy on a Saturday, we go on big hikes on Sundays, chess club Saturday nights, talking circles, we got guitar jams, we got board game nights, we help the homeless, we're doing a whole array of things. We're launching rock climbing in January, and all of this stuff just to bring men together so that they can create meaningful relationships without the need for drugs and alcohol, but also without the barrier of having to fork out to pay to do these things. That for me was a big barrier to meeting new people, not being able to go and do things that I wanted to do because I'm skint.
Thank you for sharing. Can I ask, in terms of the people who come to the group, what's their backgrounds?
You've got lads who are fresh out of prison. We've got lads who are off the council estate. We've got lads who have been directors in the police force. We've got guys who were chief execs. We just, office workers, every man that you could imagine, straight, gay, bisexual, people who identify as non-binary. You get me? We've got everyone that steps through our door. And that's how it has to be. We don't limit anybody by postcode. We don't limit anybody by their identity, whatever that is. You just open the doors to men, all men, those who identify as men. You get me? It's a space for them who want to build community, who want to be seen, who want to have meaningful relationships. That's it.
How far and wide do people come from?
So we're currently operating in Manchester and Wolverhampton. So we get guys coming from.
Why Wolverhampton?
Yeah, because
there's a little smile there on you. Come on, tell me.
Because it's always the question whenever I say Wolverhampton, everyone's like, "Why?" Which says a lot about Wolverhampton, probably. But Wolverhampton, there was the two lads, Jamie and Christian. They were travelling up on a Sunday night to come to our talking circles in Eccles, Salford, and then they drive back home. And then they were coming to our hikes, and then they were coming to our camps, and then they were telling their brethren about it, and then the brethren were coming to the hikes and the camps. And then before long, it was like they wanted it in Wolves. They didn't want to have to keep travelling. And I told him it's hard, the red tape, all of the bullshit that comes with being a CIC. We were a CIC at the time. We're now a registered charity.
Okay.
But all of that bullshit that comes with
people that don't know, CIC is a community interest company.
Yeah, that's right. And I told him that part of it's hard. The generating the funds and all of the paperwork, that's hard. How about you just take our blueprint, take the Manny blueprint, the Mandem Meetup blueprint, and run it in Wolves, and I'll just support you from afar and do all of the boring stuff, all the paper pushing. And then they agreed. That was like 3 years ago.
Wow. How long's Mandem Meetup Northwest been running for then?
We held our first ever talking circle in 2019. And that was at my kitchen table. We had 8 lads show up on that day.
You know what? I'm pausing there. Why am I pausing? Because this is pre-COVID time. And 8 lads said, yeah, we need to come together. We need to support each other. And the other reason why, what was you tell me, what was the reason for you coming together to have this talking club? What had gone on in your life or in other people's lives?
Yeah. So I was in a bit of a bad relationship. It was a very bad relationship, actually. I went through a lot with her, and during that relationship, I started to find like my power, and I started to getting to know who I was, learning what I needed, learning how to satisfy or scratch the itch that I had, that I was lacking in my life. I wasn't getting the love that I deserved at home. The love I was giving wasn't being reciprocated. I was working in a job that wasn't serving me. It was soulless. And so I ended up leaving her. We were engaged. I left her, moved in with my nan, quit my job, retrained to be a gardener. And I just went on this mad journey of stripping back all of the layers of me that had been placed upon me by society, by growing up in ends, by having an abusive stepdad who eventually took his own life. All of these layers that were placed upon me, all these conditions, I knew that I had to get rid of them. And it took me stripping back to bare brick and starting again to understand who I was as a man and who Jamie really, really was. That was a question that you asked at the beginning. And so building up from that, I sold all of my possessions. Yeah. Booked a one-way flight to Kenya. And I just went traveling around the world for a bit. Ended up in Australia, started making some decent money there, and then flew home for a 3-week holiday in Manny. Day 21, my brethren's at the door, come to pick me up to take me to the airport. I rang him, told him to come inside because I'm not going nowhere. There was just a pull to be in Manchester. So obviously I had to get a job, got a job, fell in love, and that's when my heart was broken again. But this time it wasn't for the wrong reasons. She wasn't doing anything against me. She was just living her own life, and it was just revealing all of the parts of me that I hadn't yet healed, all of the parts of me that I would suppress and hadn't brought to the surface to deal with yet. Insecurity, lack of self-worth, people pleasing, all of these things. But it brought me to my knees because I weren't ready to deal with it. And my supervisor at the time, it clocked that I weren't feeling myself. And when I took myself off into the stock room, he followed me in and he was like, "Yo, what's going on in here, bro? Why are you in here?" I said, "Bro, I just need 5 minutes." I said, "Leave me alone. I'll come back out." And he went, "No, go on. What's going on?" And I thought, maybe I can tell him what's going on. And I just started to talk, and I got that emotion building up in my throat, frog in your throat feeling. I was like, coughed it away because I'm a proper bloke. I said, "Bro, just give me a minute. Give me a minute. I'll be out. And he just stood there. You get me? He didn't move, and he looked me in the eye and said, "Jay, it's okay. You can talk to me, And for that moment, I felt safe enough to share with him what was going on in my life. Felt safe enough to tell him how I was feeling and what was all of these things that were bringing me down. And I cried in front of him, bro. For the first time in my life, I cried in front of him, and I felt safe enough to do that. And he didn't make me feel less of a man for doing it. He didn't judge me. He didn't make me feel like less of a man. Simple as that. And it was that night I just couldn't stop thinking about it because I just felt so light afterwards. I couldn't stop thinking about what this guy had done for me. And I was like, I need to do what he's done for me, but for others. And I just went on Instagram, bro. I just put it in my stories, told everyone what had happened. And I said, who needs this? Because I want to give it, you get me? And that was it. My DMs were just popping off from women, from lads. And I just said, okay, let's go then. 28th of December, come to my gaff. We'll sit around the table and we'll have a chat. And that's what happened. 8 lads showed up. 28th of December 2019.
28th of December 2019. Go on, that's etched. That's etched in your psyche.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pare it back. Tell me about growing up. Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I've got one brother who shares the same dad and mum. I've got 2 sisters who share the same mum but different dad. And I've got a brother who's got the same dad but a different mum.
Okay. So quick maths, 5 of yous then, yeah? Were you all under the same roof or?
So 4 of us were under the same roof, yeah. So 4 of us were, and then my brother, my dad's son, he come a little bit later on. So he's a young man, still a nipper in.
And what was growing up like for you?
Yeah, it was techie. Obviously, grew up in ends in Old Trafford. Vivid memories of my neighbour getting shot on the doorstep. vivid memories of running away from a drive-by, vivid memories of scrapping lads on the street. You know, obviously happy memories of playing footy and learning to ride my bike around the block, getting on the PY90 and jibbing about ends. You get me? Like things like that, good memories, but also like isolating myself in my bedroom, never wanting to be around my family. It was
Why was
never
that?
safe in the house.
Never
It weren't a
safe in the
safe
house.
place. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
it weren't a safe
let's
place.
just hang that for now. Just let me hang
Yeah,
that
yeah.
for now. When you speak then about your neighbour bearing witness to that, when you speak about drive-bys and bearing witness to that, I'm wondering, when we're in those environments, we've got to put a front on that we're not afraid and all of that. But inside, we're shit scared.
Mm.
We're shit scared. And I'm wondering, what was it like for you having to wear that mask, not being able to reveal?
I just never knew who I was. You get me? I was always trying to be the person that I was supposed to be. And I carried that way into my 20s the same. Never understood, always ashamed of who I was as well. Growing up on a council estate, even being ashamed of that, you get me? So,
I get a sense, for me, this is me, I get a sense that sense of shame, that those negative feelings were put upon you by systems, by people, perhaps not always in your life, but people on the margins as well, that you had to big yourself up in a particular way, that you'd had to stand proud and stand up. Otherwise, people would smell fear, people would smell blood, and people would go for the jugular. Would that be fair?
absolutely.
You spoke before about your stepdad, the abuse. Is it okay to talk about that?
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about the abuse. Was it physical?
Yeah, physical, emotional. He was a bully. He would intimidate his kids, intimidate his wife, my aunties, anybody who was smaller than him, you know, get kind of really. Small things that just didn't matter either. Just being around the house, put your hands on the wall, you get licked down. Finish your dinner, licked down. Playing in the garden too loud.
And when did he enter your life? How old were you?
Yeah, two and a bit, nearly 3 maybe.
And how long did he stay there for?
Till I was 15. When we fled the house, the whole family fled the house. We went into emergency accommodation. So 5 of us technically homeless in this 1-bedroom flat in Sale, whilst he was on a fishing trip. My mum saw that as an opportunity to run.
I'm going to say something now, right? I'm just going to say it. I get a feeling that if you hadn't fled as a family, and as you were 15, that the path could have took a different turn.
Mm.
And I mean that you would have more than hurt him. Because there would come a tipping point that no more, no mass. You wouldn't be putting up with this.
Yeah.
And when he died by suicide, what was your initial reaction? What was your initial feelings?
Good riddance. Good riddance.
How old were you?
I was in my early 20s when I found out. I was in my early 20s.
putting him to one side, have you ever lost anybody to suicide?
No one else. We've lost one of our brothers in Wolverhampton. Well, he's from Telford, technically. A couple of years ago. He was the latest or the closest person to me who I've lost to suicide. And obviously, the landscape that I walk in, here I've got 20/20 vision, and I can look back in retrospect, and I can show compassion, and I can show empathy for my stepdad, the man that abused us, my mum, my siblings. And now I look and I think, what must that man have been through in his life? What must that man have been going through every day to feel like it was okay to be abusive to his family, to the people he loved the most, the people who he cared about the most? What must have he been going through? And we'll never know. Never know.
We'll never know. But as you said, with that compassionate lens, how does that feel, being compassionate to, you can't walk in his shoes, obviously, but you're being gracious there? Because I dare say that what you, your siblings, your mum experienced and bore witness to was pretty traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
So with that compassion, where does it take you?
It takes me to a peaceful place. It takes me to a place of stillness, place of knowing that it wasn't about us. We didn't do anything wrong. It was never, wasn't my mum's fault, wasn't my brother's fault, wasn't my sister's fault, wasn't my fault. It was what he was going through. It allows me to navigate this world as a better man, so that I can be a good dad for my son. Feel at peace, bro, with compassion, knowing that, I feel like now I've got to help little Jamie. So what does that look like? It means helping other men who might be going through something and then going home and acting out to their family. If I can give them the tools to regulate their emotions, or if I can give them a space where they can express themselves in a healthy way, learn what their emotions are. That anger is deeper than just, anger's the surface. It's a symptom. Where's it coming from? Can you explain it? Can you learn to listen with compassion to your wife, to your kids, to your partner? Gives me motivation. You get me? It gives me an opportunity to help the younger version of me, who now lives in another household with a different surname.
Who's been there for you? Who's helped you?
I've had a lot of people in my life come through. They give me a leg up, from like PE teachers who supported me, believed in me, give me motivation, to my nan, my mum, my friends, back me even though I'm a fucking head case. I've got a mentor at the moment. He's helped me. I've had mentors throughout my life. Kickboxing coach, Kev, bad man, absolute hero. I've always had somebody get me like a positive male role model, whether it's nearby or not. My own dad is a good man, big heart. I get a lot of his generosity, a lot of his putting people first. That comes from him. I've had a lot of people show me love over the years. People who've helped me, giving me permission to be myself.
Okay, that's interesting you say that, because I was going to ask, initially when people came to mentor, came to support you, did you pull back from that? Did you reject it? Or did you embrace it? And for
Yeah.
what it was?
Yeah, I think I've always embraced like a mentor, or even like you can even go as deep as calling it a father figure, you know what I'm saying? I've always been looking for that guidance, and sometimes it's not felt right, or sometimes it's not been right, but when I meet the right person, then at that moment I know that I can be safe with them. I can trust that their guidance is right. Some people that come and, it creates friction. Even like my mentor now, even when he tells me something that goes against my grain, I still listen. And even if I don't agree with him, or I decide to do the opposite decision to what he recommends, he doesn't abandon, or he doesn't run away, or he doesn't shun me for making that choice. So
You speak about you speak about a father figure, and you speak about the generosity of your dad. Has he been in your life constantly?
he has been, he was uh, the typical Sunday McDonald's dad. If we were lucky, we go Mackey's, but usually we go to the pub, and we come home stinking of booze and cigarettes, and it wasn't about us. Them times, he was a young man. I don't think he
Right.
really wanted to be a dad. You get me?
Yeah.
So, but man's good at pool now, so swings and roundabouts in it.
No, you know. What does he think of what you do now?
Just incredibly proud. I think that's it. Tells me he's proud of me, innit?
What about your mum and your siblings?
Yeah, my mum, same, incredibly proud. My siblings, very supportive. Even my sister, the older of the two, she ended up doing a white collar boxing fight in honor of her dad, who took his own life. And she raised like £1,800 and donated it to Mandem Meetup.
Nice, nice. So let's go back to your organization. You must have instances where people are struggling with their mental health. You must have instances where people are experiencing a sense of disillusionment, feeling lost.
Mm.
How does what you do with your charity make a difference?
I think the biggest thing that we're really good at Mandem Meetup is creating community. It's creating a brotherhood. So even if a lad is feeling lost, feeling disillusioned, feeling low, he knows he's got a space where he can go and talk about it and be met with empathy, sympathy sometimes, but definitely compassion, where, he's not going to get judged. He's going to get thanked for sharing, and he's going to get told that he's not alone. X amount of men are going to reply saying, I've been through that too, bro. I know how you feel. And this is what helped me. Obviously, we don't offer unsolicited advice at Mandem Meetup. We try and encourage empowerment and growth and leading by example.
Do you link in with other agencies and organizations?
Yeah, man, definitely. Big part of this journey is creating a massive network of men supporting men, supporting men. I can't scratch every itch through our services. We're non-clinical for a reason.
Absolutely.
So we need to be linking up with those that have that clinical arm that can support men onto the next stage, or those lads who are going through bigger burdens that we can bear.
Yeah. Currently, as it stands now, if you look at the stats for suicide, it'll tell you that 7,055 people died in 2023 by suicide, which equates to 74% men to 26% women. However, of that 7,055, approximately 4,800 were not known to mental health services. So they were struggling in silence, under the radar. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it leans into societal norms of what men should be like. I think I can definitely relate to being somebody who doesn't use statutory services. I would rather go and confide in my brethrens or go over to, we see Mandem Meetups, a mental health service now, but doing that, try and use the tools that I've gained. So for me, doesn't surprise me. We see it all the time. Lads just often wait until they've come out of the darkness before they talk about the dark side, the darkness that they've been through. And we create really safe spaces. We're using language that men utilize. And we see that more men want to come and talk. Just goes to show that statutory services don't hold all of the power. Some clinical spaces where we do see the strength of community and safety.
I'm not going to, well, I don't want to sound political, but I'm going to say this. Last week, the health minister was streeting, said he was going to roll out some stuff and put 686 million pounds into, support services, ADHD review, yada, yada, yada.
Mm.
And I'm mentioning that because the government will throw out stats that the loss of one person to suicide is equivalent to £6.7 million. And so if you divide that 1.67 into 687, it's barely scratch. It's not even scratching the surface. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And what pisses me off is that we've got big organizations claiming to say that they want to support people that your demographic supports, but they never seem to be reaching in. They never seem to be saying, Jamie, tell me how you're doing it. Tell me how you're creating that safe space. They always want to be in their ivory towers and, and talk from lofty positions that they've got the answers. And do you know fuck all? Do you know fuck all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of ticking boxes and a lot of putting on a show. People are not in the mud putting in the graft. They're not
absolutely
utilized.
Okay, so here's my question to you. How do you ensure, because you are a charity, that you don't drift into mission creep in the sense that you're just chasing the money, and you're not being true to the philosophy of why you were set up in the first place?
Everything about Mandem Meetup is about the community. So if we're not involving the community at every level, 90% of the people, it might even, I think there's only one person who is receiving some kind of financial gain from this charity who hasn't been a service user. That person lives in Belfast and he's a bookkeeper. Everybody else, from facilitators to admin, even on the board, I've got service users or beneficiaries. The Mandem, if that ever changes, something's gone wrong. It needs to be 100% led by the community. We've got the WhatsApp group in Manny that's 700. We've got the WhatsApp group in Wolverhampton that's nearly 400. They're my expert reference group. They're the people who I go to and I say, what do you need? What do you want? What can I do to improve your life? If I'm going to a board meeting, what do you want me to go and tell them? What do you want me to say to the council? What do you want me to say to this MP? What do you want me to say to the superintendent of the police force? You tell me. But if we're not, if our community is not engaged at every single level, then there's going to be a problem.
For real, for real. Tell me about the referral process for Mandem Meetup. How do people get involved? How can people get the support that's needed for them?
Yeah. So big thing for me is wait times. No good. Not interested. Jumping through hoops, red tape, not interested. There is no referral pathway. You just show up. You just come along to the session, go on our website, what's happening. You can see all the sessions that's going on. Just show up on the day. If that feels a little bit too intimidating, you can navigate our website and find a WhatsApp group on the website. You can click Manchester or Wolverhampton, whichever one's closest to you. And it doesn't even matter if you're from Manchester or Wolverhampton. You could be in Zanzibar, but you need community. Click on the WhatsApp group. You can come into the WhatsApp group. Everything we do is completely free of charge. If you haven't got boots, I can bring you boots. If you haven't got a tent, I'll bring you a tent. If you haven't got a backpack, I'll sort you a backpack. We want to remove as many barriers to access as possible. So one of those barriers is this referral process. It's not a postcode lottery. Just come. You don't have to be from a certain area to attend. Just show up. It's as simple as that.
Okay, I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. What do you want our listeners to know? What do you want our listeners to know about you, about Mandem Meetup, about society? And yeah, I want to go philosophical here as well, because I think the system that we live in is biased. It's corrupt, you know, and it sets people up to fail, deliberately so. Deliberately so. And because people don't see the rules of engagement, it fucks with their heads. It fucks with their heads.
Yeah. And that goes on to what I would like to share is we might not be able to change the whole world, but we can change our world. The things that are operating in and around our circle, we can have influence on that, whether it's the food that we're eating, the people that we're engaging with, spaces, what we're listening to, what we're consuming. You have influence over that. Create a safe circle, safe space, keep yourself accountable, be constructive, be compassionate, find your community, find the people who give a shit because they give a shit.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes.
Can I ask, I'm digressing here, but I think this is important. I think education's important. I think reading's important. And I think we live in a society, in a world now whereby it's just full of sound bites and there's the lack of critical thinking.
Yeah.
What would you say on that?
Facts. Now we've got AI who does the critical thinking for you. A big part of my change was picking up books in my late teens, my early 20s, and then throughout my 20s was just picking up knowledge, downloading everything, all the words of people, great men that have come before me, great women that have come before me, understanding what it takes, learning how to navigate a world that is just complicated and set to and ruinous, bruv. You get me? It's not just at this time. It's not righteous. Not consuming all the madness that's out there just because it's cool. Like really go and read stuff, understand policy, understand how to generate strategy. We can't yeah, sometimes you got to take on the mold to break it. You get me? And if we don't understand policy, if we don't understand strategy, if we don't understand how this world navigates, if we don't read history to see what came before us, then we'll never be able to change the future.
Are you optimistic for the future?
Not the immediate future, but I'm an optimistic person, full stop. My glass is always half full.
Okay. What's wrong with the immediate future?
I just see the dangers of ignorance, of naive people being manipulated into thinking falsehoods are fact.
Give me some examples. I'm goading you deliberately. I think we're going down the same route.
You're goading me deliberate. You're drawing man out. Bro, I was born in Manchester, born in England. I'm a proud Englishman. You get me? Proud to be from this land. Proud to be born here, for my ancestors to have been born here. When I'm driving down the street, yeah, and I'm seeing these flags on lampposts, bro, just knocks me sick.
Why?
Because these people don't give a shit about this country. These people don't give a shit about the people in the community. They don't understand even the history behind the flag in itself. It's intimidation tactics. It's cowardice. It's fear. It's not productive. It's destructive.
Absolutely.
I'm not here for it.
I said to somebody a few weeks back that growing up during the 70s, as I did, and what was going on there, this feels far more insidious, you know? And these falsehoods that people subscribe to, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know what they don't know.
That's it.
And they know not what they know in equal measures.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I think it's a great form of distraction politics. You know?
Mm-hmm.
If those flags are going up and all of that, if those people are at the pulpit narrating bile, why don't they talk about, well, let's get little Jamie into the dentist. He hasn't been into the dentist for like 10 years. You can't get, you know? We've got millions of kids in that same situation. Isn't that more important?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
We could go on. And I think, and I'll say this now, for me, and I've heard it said before, you've got a party, a political party such as Labour that does not represent the interests of the common man and woman, who are trying to out-reform reform.
Yeah.
It's madness. We're living in dangerous times.
Yeah. My missus is from the Czech Republic.
Okay.
When she's coming to me asking, should she be worried? Is she in danger? And I've got to try and reassure her to let her know that it's going to be all right.
And can I say something on that? And she passes. She doesn't have to open her mouth, so she can pass.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pass.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly. No, in a world where our energy prices are uncapped, you're more pissed off by a couple man coming on, storming a beach. Get over yourself, bro. You're not even asked. Can't be. You
Absolutely.
can't be asked. But again, that's easier to blame a minority than it is to take control of the real situation, a real problem.
100%. 100%. 100%. We've got so many things to talk about here, you know, and I think you need to come back on again. Definitely. Can I ask you a question?
Or she can.
I know we've spoke about the politics, but what keeps you up at night?
The fear of not being good enough. The fear of not being a good enough leader for this community. The fear of not being a good enough father. Fear of not being a good enough husband. A fear of not providing what people deserve.
I was going to jump in when you said the fear of not being a good enough leader. But then you went on to other things because I was going to challenge you and I was going to ask you, and do you consider yourself to be a leader? But then you went on to those other pillars as well, which are equally as important. And then it got me thinking about Alexander the Great, you know, and it got me thinking about by the time he was 25, he'd conquered the known world. And I thought, wow, that's impressive. But then I remember my mentor, One Alan Smith, used to say to me that the definition of a leader isn't the bravest, the strongest, the most intelligent, yada, yada. The definition of a leader is somebody who can surround himself with all those qualities, you know? And I'm wondering about you, your army. You've got people like that for you. You must have in order to achieve what you've achieved. What, 700 in the WhatsApp group in Manchester, 400 in Wolverhampton? Come on. Come on. I'm not forgetting that Alexander the Great died when he was 32, but that's another story. We won't go into the largesses of that one. You know? Who, and you can only pick one, who's the most important person in your life?
My son.
Wrong.
If you're going philosophical,
Come on, what are we going to go? Where are we going to go then if it's philosophical? Come on.
then it's me.
Why?
Because without me, my world doesn't exist.
You're the most important person in your life because you're the expert of you. You know what makes yourself happy. You know what makes yourself sad. And by attending to your needs, and first and foremost, can you be fully there for the people you care about? And imagine this. Imagine if you took care of business for you. Imagine how much more richer and textured and layered that love and care would be for those important people in your life. Can we agree on that one?
Fully. Fully.
You're safe, you. Fully safe. We finished recording the Hurt Locker this evening. Have you eaten this evening?
Nah. Pending.
Pardon?
It's pending. It's ready.
Okay. Cool. Okay. We finished the Hurt Locker, right? You close your laptop. You have your scran. You finish here. You're just resting. There's a knock at the door. And it's little, what? Let me go for 14-year-old Jamie. 14-year-old Jamie Dennis at the door. What do you say to him?
I'm gonna hug him. I'm gonna tell him it's all gonna work out just all right. Keep being you. Don't hide yourself. You're capable of more than you know.
When did you learn? You know what? I'm going to say this. I asked that question all the time when we record the podcast. No, well, more recently, I've been asking that as a question. And very few people talk about the hug.
Mm.
And for me, that was just like, that just landed. When was it that you started to come out of the shade?
Mm. It was probably the last time I got arrested. In my early 20s, just after my stepdad died. Then it was at that time that I knew that something needed to change. Otherwise I was going in the wrong direction.
Could you see that pathway?
Not even close. I didn't have a clue what I was doing.
That's
Didn't
honest.
have a clue.
That's honest.
It's like walking a mountain, though, innit? You hike a mountain, you've got an idea that you need to get to the top. You know you need to get to the top. But when you're walking down the path, all you can see is 1 meter or 2 meters ahead of you, and then the path goes.
Absolutely.
You just got to keep faith that every time you step along that path, a new part of the path reveals itself.
That's in that. There's hope, there's faith, there's trust.
Mm-hmm.
How's it been for you being on the Hurt Locker?
The most unique podcast experience that I've had.
Listen, I'm hoping that's in the positive sense you're saying that.
Yeah, bro, this is what conversations need to sound like. You get me? This is how people need to be chatting, especially in public forums. Understand me? Where people are going to be listening and taking it in. This is the kind of chats that need to happen. 100%.
Thank you for your gracious words. I definitely want to have you on again. Definitely. You know what? Yeah, because you've given me something as well. You've nourished me, and nurtured me this evening, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah,
I'm so grateful for. Any last words before we wrap this one up?
The famous words of Malcolm X: when you replace I with we, even illness becomes wellness.
Okay, it's interesting. This is wow. Okay, and I need you to do a little bit of research, okay, if you don't mind.
Yeah, man.
You just said replace the I with the we.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the word we, which is MWE, which is the combination of me and we together?
Mm.
Okay, it's being developed, that interconnectedness of societal and the individual, by a doctor called Dan Siegel. Just check it out. We can have some discussions about that as well, because it's trauma-based as well. It's trauma-informed as well. We're saying, okay, this episode's going to go out the 16th of January. So is there any events or anything, or is it just, we'll let people know what your website is, so we'll let people know. We'll put information about your website and all of that malarkey. But yeah. Jamie, we need to have more conversations like this. Seriously.
Hey, are we going to do the Hurt Locker live or what?
Wow. Are you going to drop that one on me?
Put you under peas, bro. Is it going to happen?
You know what? Tim and I have been speaking about that for time, Well, you know what? Why not do a Hurt Locker Northwest? Why not do a Hurt Locker Northwest? Yes. People, you've heard it. You've heard it live here between us. Why not do a Hurt Locker Northwest? Yes. A live version. Yeah. We'll make it happen.
Needs to happen, that, brother, on a level. Tim, make it happen, son.
He will do. Jamie, you've been an absolute fucking pleasure. Okay? Remain blessed. Remain blessed. The Hurt Locker is a safe space for our guests to openly share their mental health experiences. If you have been affected by any of the content in this recording, then please reach out for support. If it is an emergency, dial 999. If you would like to talk to somebody today, then please call the Samaritans on 116 123. Stay safe. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Hurt Locker. Please give us a rating or share with another listener. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Hurt Locker Pod.